Hello everyone, this video is for my algebra half students. I'm going to be doing lesson 69 today, ratio word problems. I'm on page 194 if you want to follow along. Everybody's scared of word problems, but they're actually relatively easy if you will, as I've told you numerous times in class, write down exactly what the problem says. There are words that we can write as symbols or as numbers or as equals or as times signs. So let's look into this. First of all, a ratio. A ratio is a comparison of two things that we normally write as a fraction. So right now, we're going to think of the word fraction. Example 69:1 says the ratio of the number of parrots to the number of macaws, was 5 to 7. It says the ratio, the fraction of the number of parrots to the number of macaws. Right there, I'm going to write a fraction. Now, usually think of fractions with numbers one over the other, but you can put letters. It says the ratio of parrots to macaws. A macaw is a type of parrot. It's like saying the ratio of dogs to hounds. So that's neither here nor there. Ratio of parrots to macaws was. What have I told you time and time again? The word was is. It's a verb. That means equals. The ratio of parrots to macaws was 5 to 7. Now that's not saying there were 5 parrots and there were 7 macaws. It says that when you compared the numbers of them, they were able to reduce to 5 to 7. This may have been 50 parrots and 70 macaws. Could have been 10 parrots and 14 macaws. It could have been 5,000 and 7,000. We don't know, all right? And that's what we're going to go find out. This is their ratio. Then it goes on to say, it says, how many macaws were there when the parrots numbered 750? We can just keep going with this equation, and I can say, all right, it says, by the way, which was 750? The parrots were 750. It says, how many macaws were there? This is what we don't know. We're going to put an M right there. You can put an X, but I'm going to put an M for macaw. How many macaws were there when there were 750 parrots? Okay. Now, there's two ways we can figure this out. You can do cross multiplication, which always works, or you can do a scale factor if you choose to. Let's do cross multiplication first. I forget, by the way, I'm going to skip this P over M now. That was just to help me set it up. Here's my real equation right here. The 5 over 7 equals 750 over M. I gave you that cross multiplication worksheet last week before spring break. Some of you did very well. Some of you, you need to cross multiply and show the work. I got a couple of them that people looked like they were just guessing at the answer. Draw the arrow, write 7 times 750. Here I'm going to rewrite this equals. Draw the arrow. This is 5 times M. How do we get M by itself? We divide by 5. We divide by 5. And I hope I brought my calculator with me. I did, because I can't do that in my head. Actually, I can, but I'm not gonna. So let's say by the way, I don't mind if you use a calculator on this. So I'm going to go 7 times 750 divided by 5 equals, oops, I put times 5. Divided by 5, divided by 5 again. And I get 1,050 equals the number of macaws. When there were 750 parrots, there were 1,050 macaws. Okay? I wish they had had a number that was easier to do in your head, something not so drastic as 750, but like I said, you're able to use your calculator. Let's do another one. This exact same example, let's say it had been 15. And I say, okay, the ratio Parrots to macaws was 5 to 7. How many macaws were there when there were 15 parrots? I'll again do the cross multiplication. 7 times 15, do not multiply it out, equals 5m. Divide both sides by 5. How many times does 5 go into 15? Well, it goes in there 3 times. 7 times 3 is 21. Okay? Don't forget to multiply the 3 times 7. I had a couple of you writing in and you canceled and you told me that there were 3. No, you have to still do the 7 times 3. So there's 21 macaws in this example. Cross multiplication worked. I mentioned earlier that you could do this 2 ways. Scale factor was another way. Somebody's going to go, how do I get from 5 to 15? Oh, I multiply by 3. Well, 7 times 3 will give me my 21 also. That also works. Either way. I think the problems that Saxon's going to give you in the homework, you're pretty much going to have to cross multiply. You may not be able to do the scale factor. Like that. Second example, bottom of page 194, says the ratio of the number of wrigglers to the number of squirmers was 13 to 2. 13 to 2. We've got wrigglers or wigglers and squirmers, and the ratio was 13 to 2. Somebody's going fishing, and he's got, well, wrigglers and squirmers. All right. Then it says, when 26 students had the wrigglers, how many were squirming? Oh, I guess it's not. It's Saxon. He's not fishing. He's talking about kids who, and he doesn't call them the wiggles. He calls them the wriggles. I don't get it. I don't get him is what I should say. It says 26 students had the wriggles. Well, 26 goes right here. It says how many were squirmers? Well, that goes right there. Okay. You're going to go, okay, how do you get from 13 to 26? We're doing scale factor here. That's easy. That's times 2. Well, I do this times 2. This would say that there were 4 squirmers. Make sure I get that right. Yeah, I did. If it were something that weren't as easy, you would cross multiply. 2 times 26 equals 13 times s. Divide by 13, divide by 13. 13 goes into 26 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. Here you have that. Right. There's also an example in practice. I'm going to go ahead and go over that also. It says the ratio of winners to losers. Winners to losers was 22 to 3. That's good. If there were 3,000 losers, the losers, they gave you the number 3,000. That doesn't necessarily mean that it goes on top. It goes on the same line as this loser. Well, this one's easy to do a scale factor. How many winners were there? Well, how do you get from 3 to 3,000? You multiply by 1,000. Well, do 22 times 1,000. That'll give you 22,000. Pretty simple. But as I've said before, they're not always this simple. The ones I gave you in the cross multiplication worksheet, you couldn't necessarily do a scale factor. You had to cross multiply. In fact, you couldn't because those were fractions and mixed numbers. Okay, well that's it. Do your best. Give me a call if you need help. Keep handing in those. You're sending me pictures on either email or on texting of your homeworks, and we'll get through this together. See you later, guys. God bless you.